Lost is an American drama television series that originally aired on ABC from September 22, 2004, to May 23, 2010, over 6 seasons, comprising a total of 121 episodes. The show contains elements of supernatural and science fiction, and follows the survivors of a commercial jet airliner flying between Sydney and Los Angeles, after the plane crashes on a mysterious island somewhere in the South Pacific Ocean. The story is told in a heavily serialized manner. Episodes typically feature a primary storyline set on the island, augmented by flashback or flash-forward sequences which provide additional insight into the involved characters. Lost was created by Jeffrey Lieber, J. Abrams and Damon Lindelof, who share story writing credits for the pilot episode, which Abrams directed. Throughout the show's run, Lindelof and Carlton Cuse served as showrunners and head writers, working together with many other executive producers and writers. Due to its large ensemble cast and the cost of filming primarily on location in Oahu, Hawaii, the series was one of the most expensive on television, with the pilot alone costing over $14 million. The fictional universe and mythology of Lost are expanded upon by a number of related media, most importantly, a series of short mini-episodes called Missing Pieces, and a 12-minute epilogue titled The New Man in Charge. Lost has been consistently ranked by critics as one of the greatest television series of all time. The first season had an estimated average of 16 million viewers per episode on ABC. During its 6th and final season, the show averaged over 11 million US viewers per episode. Lost was the recipient of hundreds of industry award nominations throughout its run and won numerous of these awards, including the Emmy Award for Outstanding Drama Series in 2005, Best American Import at the British Academy Television Awards in 2005, the Golden Globe Award for Best Drama in 2006, and a Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Ensemble in a Drama Series. Users of IMDb Pro gave Lost the highest average ranking for any television series during the first 10 years, 2002 to 2012, of the website's operation. Episodes. Overview. Season 1. Season 1 begins with the aftermath of a plane crash, which leaves the surviving passengers of Oceanic Airlines Flight 815 on what seems to be an uninhabited tropical island. Jack Shepard, a spinal surgeon, becomes their leader. Their survival is threatened by a number of mysterious entities, including polar bears, an unseen creature that roams the jungle, the smoke monster, and the island's malevolent inhabitants known as the Others. They encounter a French woman named Danielle Rousseau, who was shipwrecked on the island 16 years before the main story and is desperate for news of her daughter, Alex. They also find a mysterious metal hatch buried in the ground. While 2 survivors, Locke and Boone, try to force the hatch open, 4 others, Michael, Jen, Walt, and Sawyer attempt to leave on a raft that they had built. Meanwhile, flashbacks centered on details of the individual survivors' lives prior to the plane crash. Season 2. Season 2 follows the growing conflict between the survivors and the Others and continues the theme of the clash between faith and science, while resolving old mysteries and posing new ones. The 4 survivors in the raft are ambushed by the Others, and they take Walt, Michael's son. The survivors are forced to return to the island, where they find the tail section survivors, the tailies. A power struggle between Jack and John Locke over control of the guns and medicine located in the hatch develops, resolved in a long con by Sawyer when he gains control of them. The hatch is revealed to be a research station built some 30 years earlier by the Dharma Initiative, a scientific research project that involved conducting experiments on the island. A man named Desmond Hume had been living in the hatch for 3 years, activating a computer program every 108 minutes to prevent an unknown catastrophic event from occurring. To recover his son, Michael betrays the survivors, and Jack, Sawyer, and Kate are captured. Michael is given a boat and leaves the island with his son, while John destroys the computer in the hatch, whereupon an electromagnetic event shakes the island. This causes the island to be detected by scientists working for Penelope Widmore, and it is revealed that it was a similar event that caused the breakup of the plane. Season 3. In Season 3, The crash survivors learn more about the others and their long history on the mysterious island, along with the fate of the Dharma Initiative. The leader of the others, Benjamin Linus, is introduced as well, and defections from both sides pave the way for conflict between the two. Time travel elements also begin to appear in the series, as Desmond is forced to turn the failsafe key in the hatch to stop the electromagnetic event, and this sends his mind 8 years to the past. When he returns to the present, he is able to see the future. Kate and Sawyer escape the others, while Jack stays after Ben promises that Jack will be able to leave the island in a submarine if he operates on Ben, who has cancer. Jack does, but the submarine is destroyed by John. Jack is left behind with Juliet, another, who also seeks to leave the island, while John joins the others. A helicopter carrying Naomi crashes near the island. Naomi says her freighter, Johanna, is near and was sent by Penelope Widmore, Desmond's ex-girlfriend. Desmond has a vision in which Charlie will drown after shutting down a signal that prevents communication with the exterior world. His vision comes true, but Charlie speaks with Penelope, who says she does not know any Naomi. Before drowning, Charlie writes on his hand "Not Penny's boat" so Desmond can read it. Meanwhile, the survivors make contact with a rescue team aboard the freighter. In the season's finale, apparent flashbacks show a depressed Jack going to an unknown person's funeral. In the final scene, these are revealed to be flash forwards, and Kate and Jack are revealed to have escaped the island. Jack, however, is desperate to go back. Season 4. Season 4 focuses on the survivors dealing with the arrival of people from the freighter, who have been sent to the island to reclaim it from Benjamin. Flash forwards continue, in which it is seen how 6 survivors, dubbed the Oceanic Six, live their lives after escaping the island. The Oceanic Six are Jack, Kate, Hurley, Sayid, Sun, and Aaron. In the present, 4 members of the freighter arrive and team up with the survivors to escape the island, since the people of the freighter have orders to kill everyone who stays. Meanwhile, Ben travels with John to see Jacob, the island's leader. John enters his house but finds Jack's stepfather, Christian, who says he can speak on Jacob's behalf, and orders John to move the island. Ben takes John to an underground station in which time travel was researched. John becomes the new leader of the others, while Ben moves the island by turning a giant frozen wheel, after which he is transported to the Sahara. The 6 survivors escape in a helicopter as they watch the island disappear and are subsequently rescued by Penelope. In the season finale, it is revealed that the funeral Jack went to in the flash forwards was that of John Locke, who had been seeking out the Oceanic Six in his efforts to convince them to return to the island. Season 5. Season 5 follows 2 timelines. The first timeline takes place on the island where the survivors who were left behind erratically jump forward and backward through time. In one of these time periods, John speaks with Richard Alpert, one of the others, who says that to save the island, he must bring everyone back. John goes to the same underground station Ben went to. After moving the wheel himself, John is transported to the Sahara in 2007. As the time shifts on the island stop and the survivors are stranded with the Dharma Initiative in 1974. In 2007, John contacts the Oceanic Six, but no one wants to return. The last one of the Oceanic Six he finds is a depressed Jack. John tells Jack his father is alive on the island. This seriously affects Jack, and he begins taking flights, hoping to crash on the island again. Ben finds John and kills him. After John's death, the Oceanic Six are told to board the Algeria Airways Flight 316 to return to the island, and in order to go back, they have to take John Locke's body in the plane. They take the flight, but some land in 1977, where they meet with the other survivors who are now part of the Dharma Initiative, and others land in 2007. The survivors in 1977 are told by Daniel Faraday that if they detonate a nuclear bomb at the hatch's construction site, the electromagnetic energy below it will be negated, and, thus, the hatchet would never be built and, thus, their future could be changed. In 2007, John Locke apparently comes back to life. he instructs Richard Alpert to speak with a time-traveling John and tell him that he must bring everyone back to the island. After this, he goes to speak with Jacob. The season finale reveals that John Locke is still dead and another entity has taken over his form just to make Ben kill Jacob. In 1977, Juliet detonates the fission core taken from the hydrogen bomb. Season 6. Season 6, the final, follows two timelines. In the first timeline, the survivors are sent to the present day, as the death of Jacob allows for his brother, the Man in Black, the human alter ego of the smoke monster, to take over the island. Having assumed the form of John Locke, the smoke monster seeks to escape the island and forces a final war between the forces of good and evil. The second timeline, called Flash Sideways Narrative, follows the lives of the main characters in a setting where Oceanic 815 never crashed, though additional changes are revealed as other characters are shown living completely different lives than they did. In the final episodes, a flashback to the distant past shows the origins of the island's power and of the conflict between Jacob and the Man in Black, who are revealed to be twin brothers, with Jacob desperate to keep his brother from leaving the island after he is transmogrified by the power of the island and becomes the smoke monster. In this season, Jacob's machinations are revealed. Everyone was pushed by fate and his manipulation to be on the oceanic flight, as many of the members of the flight were deemed candidates by Jacob to be the new protector of the island after his passing. The Man in Black's mission since the beginning of the series: kill all of the candidates, thereby allowing him to leave the island once and for all. The ghost of Jacob appears to the last of the surviving candidates, and Jack is appointed as the new protector. Jack catches up with the Man in Black, who says that he wants to go to the heart of the island to turn it off and, therefore, finally leave the island. They reach the place, but after doing this, the Man in Black becomes mortal. The Man in Black is killed by Kate, but Jack is seriously injured. Hurley, one of the survivors, becomes the new caretaker of the island. Several of the survivors die in the conflict or stay on the island, and the remaining escape in the Ajira Plain once and for all. Jack returns to the heart of the island and turns it on again, saving it. Hurley, as the new protector, asks Ben to help him in his new job, which he agrees to do. After having saved the island, Jack dies peacefully in the same place in which he woke up when he arrived on the island. The series finale reveals that the Flash Sideways timeline is actually a form of limbo in the afterlife, where some of the survivors and other characters from the island are reunited after having died. In the last scene, the survivors are all reunited in a church where they move on together. Mythology and interpretations. Episodes of Lost include a number of mysterious elements ascribed to science fiction or supernatural phenomena. The creators of the series refer to these elements as composing the mythology of the series, and they form the basis of fan speculation. The show's mythological elements include a smoke monster that roams the island, a mysterious group of inhabitants whom the survivors called the Others, a scientific organization called the Dharma Initiative that placed several research stations on the island, a sequence of numbers that frequently appears in the lives of the characters in the past, present, and future, and personal connections, synchronicity, between the characters of which they are often unaware. At the heart of the series is a complex and cryptic storyline, which spawned numerous questions and discussions among viewers. Encouraged by Lost's writers and stars, who often interacted with fans online, viewers and TV critics alike took to widespread theorizing in an attempt to unravel the mysteries. Theories mainly concern the nature of the island, the origins of the monster and the Others, the meaning of the numbers, and the reasons for both the crash and the survival of some passengers. Several of the more common fan theories were discussed and rejected by the show's creators, the most common being that the survivors of Oceanic Flight 815 are dead and in purgatory. Lindelof rejected speculation that spaceships or aliens influenced the events on the island or that everything seen was a fictional reality taking place in someone's mind. Carlton Cuse dismissed the theory that the island was a reality TV show and the castaways unwitting housemates, and Lindelof many times refuted the theory that the monster was a nanobot cloud similar to the one featured in Michael Crichton's novel Prey, which happened to share the protagonist's name, Jack. Recurring elements. There are several recurring elements and motifs on Lost, which generally have no direct effect on the story itself but expand the show's literary and philosophical subtext. These elements include frequent appearances of black and white, which reflect the dualism within characters and situations, as well as rebellion in almost all characters, especially Kate, dysfunctional family situations, especially ones that revolve around the fathers of many characters, as portrayed in the lives of nearly all the main characters, apocalyptic references, including Desmond's pushing the button to forestall the end of the world, coincidence versus fate, revealed most apparently through the juxtaposition of the characters Locke and Mr. Echo, conflict between science and faith, embodied by the leadership tug-of-war between Jack and Locke and their stark disagreements on subjects such as the hatch, the button, and leaving the island, the struggle between good and evil, shown by the relationship between Jacob and the man in black, several times by Locke using symbols such as his backgammon set, also the white and black rocks that the man in black referred to as an inside joke, and references to numerous works of literature, including mentions and discussions of particular novels. One notable reference to a novel is John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, usually when Sawyer is seen reading it or referencing it. There are also many allusions in characters' names to famous historical thinkers and writers, such as Ben Linus, after chemist Linus Pauling, John Locke, after the philosopher, and his alias Jeremy Bentham, after the philosopher, Daniel Rousseau, after philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Desmond David Hume, after philosopher David Hume, Juliet's ex-husband, after philosopher Edmund Burke, Mikhail Bakunin, after the anarchist philosopher, Daniel Faraday, after physicist Michael Faraday, Eloise Hawking, after physicist Stephen Hawking, George Minkowski, after mathematician Hermann Minkowski, Richard Alpert, the birth name of spiritual teacher Ram Dass, Boone Carlyle, after pioneer Daniel Boone and philosopher Thomas Carlyle, and Charlotte Staples Lewis, after author Clive Staples, C.S. Lewis. Cast and characters. Of the 324 people on board Oceanic Flight 815, there are 70 initial survivors, as well as one dog, spread across the 3 sections of the plane crash. Although a large cast made Lost more expensive to produce, the writers benefited from added flexibility in story decisions. According to series executive producer Brian Burke, you can have more interactions between characters and create more diverse characters, more backstories, more love triangles. Lost was planned as a multicultural show with an international cast. The initial season had 14 regular speaking roles that received star billing. Matthew Fox played the protagonist, a troubled surgeon named Jack Shepard. Evangeline Lilly portrayed fugitive Kate Austin. Jorge Garcia played Hugo Hurley Reyes, an unlucky lottery winner. Josh Holloway played a con man, James Sawyer Ford. Ian Somerhalder played Boone Carlyle, chief operating officer of his mother's wedding business. Maggie Grace played his stepsister Shannon Rutherford, a former dance teacher. Harold Perrineau portrayed construction worker and aspiring artist Michael Dawson, while Malcolm David Kelly played his young son, Walt Lloyd. Terry O'Quinn played the mysterious John Locke. Naveen Andrews portrayed former Iraqi Republican guard Sayed Jarrah. Emily de Ravin played a young Australian mother-to-be, Claire Littleton. Yoonjin Kim played Sun Hwa Kwon, the daughter of a powerful Korean businessman and mobster, with Daniel Dae Kim as her husband and father's enforcer Jin Soo Kwon. Dominic Monaghan played English ex-rock star drug addict Charlie Pace. During the first 2 seasons, some characters were written out, while new characters with new stories were added. Boone Carlyle was written out near the end of season 1, and Walt became an intermittent character, making occasional appearances throughout season 2 after he is captured by the others in the season 1 finale. Shannon's departure 8 episodes into season 2 made way for newcomers Mr. Echo, a former Nigerian militia leader and fake Catholic priest played by Adewale Kenuo Agbaje, and Alicia Cortez, an airport TSA guard and former LAPD police officer played by Michelle Rodriguez, and Libby Smith, a purported clinical psychologist and formerly mentally ill woman portrayed by Cynthia Watros. Alicia and Libby were written out of the series toward the end of season 2 after being shot by Michael, who then left the island along with his son. In Season 3, 2 actors were promoted from recurring to starring roles, Henry Ian Cusick as former Scottish soldier Desmond Hume, and Michael Emerson as the manipulative leader of the others, Ben Linus. In addition, 3 new actors joined the regular cast: Elizabeth Mitchell, as fertility doctor and other Juliet Burke, and Kiel Sanchez and Rodrigo Santoro as background survivor couple Nikki Fernandez and Paolo. Several characters died in the season. Echo was killed off when Akinuo Agbaje did not wish to continue on the show. Nikki and Paolo were buried alive mid-season after poor fan response, and in the 3rd season finale, Charlie dies a hero. In Season 4, Harold Perrineau rejoined the main cast to reprise the role of Michael, now suicidal and on a desperate redemptive journey to atone for his previous crimes. Along with Perrineau, additional new actors: Jeremy Davis as Daniel Faraday, a nervous physicist who takes a scientific interest in the island, Ken Leung as Miles Stram, a sarcastic supposed ghost whisperer, and Rebecca Matter as Charlotte Staples Lewis, a hard-headed and determined anthropologist and successful academic, joined the cast. Michael was written out in the 4th season finale. Claire, who mysteriously disappears with her dead father near the end of the season, did not return as a series regular for the 5th season but returned for the 6th and final season. In Season 5, no new characters joined the main cast, however, several characters exited the show. Charlotte was written out early in the season in Episode 5, with Daniel being written out later in the antepenultimate episode. Season 6 saw several cast changes. Juliet was written out in the season premiere while 3 previous recurring characters were upgraded to starring status. These included Nestor Carbonell as Mysterious, ageless other Richard Alpert, Jeff Fay as pilot Frank Lapidus, and Julka Robinson as Ajira Airways Flight 316 survivor Ilona Verdinsky. Additionally, former cast members Ian Somerhalder, Dominic Monaghan, Rebecca Matter, Jeremy Davis, Elizabeth Mitchell, Maggie Grace, Michelle Rodriguez, Harold Perrineau, and Cynthia Watros made return appearances. Numerous supporting characters have been given expansive and recurring appearances in the progressive storyline. Danielle Rousseau, Myra Ferlin, a French member of an earlier scientific expedition to the island, first encountered as a voice recording in the pilot episode, appears throughout the series. She is searching for her daughter, who later turns up in the form of Alex Rousseau, Tanya Raymond. Alex has been kidnapped by Ben Linus and brought to the others where she was raised. Cindy, Kimberly Joseph, an oceanic flight attendant who first appeared in the pilot, survived the crash and, subsequently, became one of the others. In the 2nd season, married couple Rose Nadler, Al Scott Caldwell, and Bernard Nadler, Sam Anderson, separated on opposite sides of the island. She with the main characters, he with the tail section survivors, were featured in a flashback episode after being reunited. The 2nd season also introduces Dr. Pierre Chang, Francois Cho, a member of the mysterious Dharma Initiative who appears in the orientation films for its numerous stations located throughout the island. Corporate magnate Charles Widmore, Alan Dale, has connections to both Ben and Desmond. Desmond is in love with Widmore's daughter Penelope Penny Widmore, Sonia Walger. Eloise Hawking, Fionnuala Flanagan, introduced in the 3rd season, is Daniel Faraday's mother and also has connections with Desmond. The introduction of the others feature Tom, aka Mr. Friendly, M. C. Gainey, and Ethan Rahm, William Mapother, all of whom have been shown in both flashbacks and the ongoing story. Jack's father Christian Shepherd, John Terry, has appeared in multiple flashbacks of various characters. In the 3rd season, Naomi Dorrit, Marcia Thomason, the team leader of a group hired by Widmore to find Ben Linus, parachutes onto the island. One member of her team includes the ruthless mercenary Martin Keamy, Kevin Durand. In the finale episode The End, recurring guest stars Sam Anderson, Al Scott Caldwell, Francois Cho, Fionnuala Flanagan, Sonia Walger, and John Terry were credited under the starring rubric alongside the principal cast. The mysterious black smoke cloud-like entity, known as the Monster, appeared in human form during Season 5 and 6 as a middle-aged man dressed in black robes, who was played by Titus Welliver, and in Season 6, it appears in the form of John Locke, played by O'Quinn in a dual role. His rival, Jacob, was played by Mark Pellegrino. Production. Lost was produced by ABC Studios, Bad Robot Productions, and Grass Skirt Productions. Throughout its run, the executive producers of the series were Damon Lindelof, J. Abrams, Brian Burke, Carlton Cuse, Jack Bender, Jeff Pinkner, Edward Kitsis, Adam Horowitz, Gene Higgins, and Elizabeth Sarinov, with Lindelof and Cuse serving as showrunners. Conception. The series was conceived by Lloyd Braun, head of ABC at the time, while he was on vacation in Hawaii during 2003, and thought of a cross between the movie Castaway and the popular reality show Survivor. Braun later pitched his ideas at the network's gathering of executives at the Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa in Anaheim, California, describing the concept as parts Castaway, Survivor, and Gilligan's Island, with a Lord of the Flies element. Many found the idea laughable, but Senior Vice President Tom Sherman saw potential and decided to order an initial script from Spelling Television. Spelling producer Ted Gold turned to writer Jeffrey Lieber, who presented a pitch to ABC in September 2003 titled Nowhere, which Sherman approved. Unhappy with the eventual script by Lieber and a subsequent rewrite, in January 2004, Braun contacted J. Abrams, who had developed the TV series Alias for ABC, to write a new pilot script. Lieber would later receive a story credit for the Lost pilot and, subsequently, shared the created by credits with Abrams and Lindelof, after a request for arbitration at the Writers Guild of America. The one inviolable edict Braun made to Abrams was that the show's title must be Lost, having conceived of the title and being angry at its change to Nowhere by Lieber. Although initially hesitant, Abrams warmed to the idea on the condition that the series would have a supranational angle to it and if he had a writing partner. ABC executive Heather Caden sent him Damon Lindelof, who had long intended to meet Abrams as he wished to write for Alias. Together, Abrams and Lindelof created the series style and characters and also wrote a series Bible that conceived and detailed the major mythological ideas and plot points for an ideal 4 to 5 season run for the show. The novel idea of a story arc spanning several years was inspired by Babylon 5. Because ABC felt that Alias was too serialized, Lindelof and Abrams assured the network in the Bible that the show would be self-contained. "We promise that each episode requires no knowledge of the episodes that preceded it. There is no ultimate mystery which requires solving." While such statements contradicted their true plans, the ruse succeeded in persuading ABC to purchase the show. The game Myst, also set in a tropical island, was noted as an influence by Lindelof, as in its narrative, "No one told you what the rules were. You just had to walk around and explore these environments, and gradually a story was told." Abrams created the sound opening of the show and its title card being inspired by the Twilight Zone. He withdrew from production of Lost partway through the first season to direct Mission Impossible 3, leaving Lindelof and new executive producer Carlton Cuse to develop much of the overall mythology of the series themselves. However, Abrams briefly returned to help co-write the third season premiere along with Lindelof. The development of the show was constrained by tight deadlines, as it had been commissioned late in the 2004 season's development cycle. Despite the short schedule, the creative team remained flexible enough to modify or create characters to fit actors they wished to cast. Lost's two-part pilot episode was the most expensive in the network's history, reportedly costing between $10 and $14 million, compared to the average cost of an hour-long pilot in 2005 of $4 million. The world premiere of the pilot episode was on July 24, 2004, at San Diego Comic-Con. ABC's parent company Disney fired Braun before Lost's broadcast debut, partly because of low ratings at the network and also because he had green-lighted such an expensive and risky project. The series debuted on September 22, 2004, becoming one of the biggest critical and commercial successes of the 2004 television season. Along with fellow new series Desperate Housewives and Grey's Anatomy, Lost helped to reverse the flagging fortunes of ABC, and its great success likely caused the network to ignore that the show almost immediately broke Lindelof and Abrams' promises to it regarding Lost's plots. Casting. Many of the first season roles were a result of the executive producers' liking of various actors. The main character Jack was originally going to die in the pilot, and the role was planned for Michael Keaton. However, ABC executives were adamant that Jack live. Before it was decided that Jack would live, Kate was to emerge as the leader of the survivors. She was originally conceived as a middle-aged businesswoman whose husband had apparently died in the crash, a role later fulfilled by the recurring character Rose. Dominic Monaghan auditioned for the role of Sawyer, who at the time was supposed to be a slick suit-wearing city con man. The producers enjoyed Monaghan's performance and changed the character of Charlie, originally an over-the-hill former rock star, to fit him. Jorge Garcia also auditioned for Sawyer, and the part of Hurley was written for him. When Josh Holloway auditioned for Sawyer, the producers liked the edge he brought to the character. He reportedly kicked a chair when he forgot his lines and got angry in the audition, and his southern accent, so they changed Sawyer to fit Holloway's acting. Yoonjin Kim auditioned for Kate, but the producers wrote the character of Sun for her and the character of Jin, portrayed by Daniel Dae Kim, to be her husband. Sayed, played by Naveen Andrews, was also not in the original script. Locke and Michael were written with their actors in mind. Emily de Ravin, who played Claire, was originally cast in what was supposed to be a recurring role. In the second season, Michael Emerson was contracted to play Ben, Henry Gale, for 3 episodes. His role was extended to 8 episodes because of his acting skills and eventually, for the whole of season 3 and later seasons. Filming. Lost was filmed on Panavision 35mm cameras almost entirely on the Hawaiian island of Oahu given the easily accessible, wide diversity of filming locations. The original island scenes for the pilot were filmed at Makuuli'ea Beach, near the northwest tip of the island. Later beach scenes take place in secluded spots of the famous North Shore. Cave scenes in the first season were filmed on a soundstage built at a Xerox parts warehouse, which had been empty since an employee mass shooting took place there in 1999. In 2006, the soundstage and production offices moved to the Hawaii Film Office-operated Hawaii Film Studio, where the sets depicting Season 2's Swan Station and Season 3's Hydra Station interiors were built. Various urban areas in and around Honolulu are used as stand-ins for locations around the world, including California, New York, Iowa, Miami, South Korea, Iraq, Nigeria, United Kingdom, Paris, Thailand, Berlin, Maldives, and Australia. For example, scenes set in a Sydney airport were filmed at the Hawaii Convention Center, while a World War II-era bunker was used as both an Iraqi Republican Guard installation and a Dharma Initiative research station. Scenes set in Germany during the winter were filmed at the Bernice P. Bishop Museum, with crushed ice scattered everywhere to create snow and Russian store and automobile signs on the street. Several scenes in the Season 3 finale, Through the Looking Glass, were shot in Los Angeles, including a hospital set borrowed from Grey's Anatomy. 2 scenes during Season 4 were filmed in London because Alan Dale, who portrays Whitmore, was at the time performing in the musical Spamalot and was unable to travel to Hawaii. Extensive archives of filming locations are tracked at a repository at the Lost Virtual Tour. Promotion. During its 6 years of broadcasting, Lost developed an extensive collection of promotional tools ranging from the traditional promotions of the TV show made by the channel, to the creation of alternate reality games, such as the Lost Experience. Lost showed innovation in the use of new advertising strategies in the sector and the transformation of the conventional devices used previously. Music. Lost features an orchestral score performed by the Hollywood Studio Symphony Orchestra and composed by Michael Giacchino, incorporating many recurring themes for subjects, such as events, locations, and characters. Giacchino achieved some of the sounds for the score using unusual instruments, such as striking suspended pieces of the plane's fuselage. On March 21, 2006, the record label Vara Saraband released the original television soundtrack for Lost's first season. The soundtrack included select full-length versions of the most popular themes of the season and the main title, which was composed by series creator J.J. Abrams. Varaz A. Sarabande released a soundtrack featuring music from Season 2 of Lost on October 3, 2006. The soundtrack for Season 3 was released on May 6, 2008. The soundtrack for Season 4 was released on May 11, 2009. The soundtrack for Season 5 was released on May 11, 2010, and the soundtrack for the final season was released on September 14, 2010. A final soundtrack, featuring music from series finale, was released on October 11, 2010. The series uses pop culture songs sparingly, and has a mainly orchestral score, consisting usually of divided strings, percussion, harp, and 3 trombones. When it features pop songs, they often originate from a diegetic source. Examples include the various songs played on Hurley's portable CD player throughout the first season, until its batteries died in the episode In Translation, which featured Damien Rice's Delicate, or the use of the record player in the second season, which included Cass Elliott's Make Your Own Kind of Music and Petula Clark's Downtown in the second and third season premieres respectively. 2 episodes show Charlie on a street corner playing guitar and singing the Oasis song Wonderwall. In the third season's finale, Jack drives down the street listening to Nirvana's Scentless Apprentice, right before he arrives to the Hoff's Drahler funeral parlor, and in the parallel scene in the fourth season's finale, he arrives listening to Gouge Away by Pixies. The third season also used Three Dog Night Shambhala on 2 occasions in the van. The only 2 pop songs that have ever been used without an on-screen source, that is, non-diegetic, are Anne Margaret's Slowly, in the episode I Do and I Shall Not Walk Alone, written by Ben Harper and covered by the Blind Boys of Alabama in the episode Confidence Man. Alternate music is used in several international broadcasts. For example, in the Japanese broadcast of Lost, the theme song used varies by season. Season 1 uses Here I Am by Chemistry, Season 2 uses Losing by Yuna Ito, and Season 3 uses Lonely Girl by Crystal K. Reception and impact. Critical reception. Lost has been described by numerous critics as being among the greatest television series of all time. Bill Carter, television reporter of the New York Times, defined Lost as the show with perhaps the most compelling continuing storyline in television history. Entertainment Weekly put the show on its end of the decade, best of list, saying, "Name another network drama that can so wondrously turn A into A." In 2012, Entertainment Weekly also listed the show at number 10 in the 25 best cult TV shows from the past 25 years, with a hot and cold description. Lost was initially celebrated as a moving character-driven drama with a broad humanistic worldview that also presented itself as dramatic cryptography that demanded to be solved. The appeal narrowed as seasons progressed and the mythology became more complex, culminating in a still debated finale that was deeply meaningful to some and dissatisfying poppycock to others. In 2007, TV Guide ranked Lost as the number 5 cult show. In 2013, TV Guide ranked it as the number 5 sci-fi show and the number 36 best series of all time. Season 1. The first season received critical acclaim. USA Today said a totally original, fabulously enjoyable Lost at Sea series. Lost had taken an outlandish Saturday serial setup and imbued it with real characters and honest emotions, without sacrificing any of the old-fashioned fun. The Los Angeles Times praised the production values and said it knows the buttons and wants to push: fear of flying, fear of abandonment, fear of the unknown, and pushes them, repeatedly, like a kid playing a video game. IGN noted that the first season succeeded first and foremost in character development. Lost Season 1 was ranked number 1 in the Best of 2005 TV coverage, Critic Top 10 lists by Matthew Gilbert of the Boston Globe, Tom Gliato of People Weekly, Charlie McCollum of the San Jose Mercury News, and Robert Bianco of USA Today. Season 2. The second season received favorable reviews, but it was noted that the season stumbled with some storylines going nowhere and some characters underutilized. IGN also noted the addition of Desmond Hume as a standout new character. The San Francisco Chronicle called Season 2 an extended, mostly unsatisfying foray into deeper mythology with very little payoff. After winning Best Drama Series for Season 1, Lost was snubbed by the Emmy Awards in Season 2. Nearing the end of the second season, USA Today listed the most popular fan theories during Season 2, the island as a psychological experiment, that the hatch had electromagnetic properties, string theory of time, and that everyone on the island had developed a collective consciousness that allowed them to appear in each other's past. One fan interviewed by USA Today said that real suspense comes from answers, not questions. Suspense comes not from wondering what's going on but from wondering what happens next. If you withhold answers, it becomes impossible to satisfy. Season 3. The first block of episodes of the third season was criticized for raising too many mysteries and not providing enough answers. Complaints were also made about the limited screen time for many of the main characters in the first block. Locke, played by Terry O'Quinn, who had tied for the highest second season episode count, appeared in only 13 of 22 episodes in the third season, only 2 more than guest star MC Gainey, who played Tom. Reaction to 2 new characters, Nikki and Paolo, was generally negative, and Lindelof even acknowledged that the couple was universally despised by fans. The decision to split the season and the American time slot switch after the hiatus were also criticized. Hughes acknowledged that, no one was happy with the 6-episode run. The second block of episodes was critically acclaimed, however, with the crew dealing with problems from the first block. More answers were written into the show, and Nikki and Paolo were killed off. It was also announced that the series would end 3 seasons after the third season, which Hughes hoped would tell the audience that the writers knew where the story was going. Season 4. The fourth season opened to praise not seen since the first season. Metacritic gave Season 4 a weighted average of 87 based on the impressions of a select 12 critical reviews, earning the second highest Metascore in the 2007 to 2008 television season after the fifth and final season of HBO's The Wire. For the first time since Season 1, Lost received an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Drama Series. Tim Goodman of the San Francisco Chronicle said that the Season 4 episodes were roller coasters of fast action and revelation and that series was back on track. In a survey conducted by TV Week of Professional Critics, Lost was voted the best show on television in the first half of 2008 by a wide margin, apparently cracking the top 5 on nearly every critic's submission and receiving nothing but praise. The New York Times said the show reveled in critiques of capitalism, using the fictional Middle-Earth bioscience and the malevolent British industrialist character of Charles Widmore as examples. The critic also said that the show in the dark business of exploring just how futile the modern search for peace, knowledge, recovery or profit really is. The critic did go on to say that series was not as philosophically refined as The Sopranos or The Wire but that it has maximized the potential of narrative uncertainty and made it a beguiling constant. Season 5. The fifth season once again received mostly positive critical reception. Season 5 was given a weighted average of 78 out of 100 by Metacritic. Variety said that the ABC series remains one of primetime's most uncompromising efforts, and this year's latest wrinkle on flashbacks, flash-forwards and island disappearing flashes of light does nothing to alter that perception. Alan Sepinwall of the Star Ledger said that Season 5 may finally be a day of reckoning between those viewers who embrace the show's science fiction trappings, and those who prefer not to think about them. Sepinwall also related that I loved every minute. But I'm also a geek who read Ray Bradbury and Isaac Asimov growing up. Heather Havelsky of Salon.com criticized the use of time travel, saying that when a narrator brings magic or time travel or an act of God into the picture, then uses it without restraint, the story loses its anchor to real life. The critic also asked why does it matter what Locke and Richard Alpert and Daniel Faraday or anyone else does, when they all seem as clueless and unfettered from reality as we are as viewers. How can these characters have any concrete agenda or strategic approach or philosophical perspective on anything when the rug is pulled out from under them by another act of God every few seconds? The New York Times also commented that what has been most dispiriting about the current season is the show's willingness to abandon many of the larger and more compelling themes that grounded the elaborate plot, the struggles between faith and reason, the indictments of extreme capitalism, the futility of recovery. All that remains is the reductively limbed battle between fate and free will, largely playing out, now, in Jack Shephard's belief that returning to the island is his destiny. The AV Club said of the 5th season finale, "Me? I found the ending frustrating, but in a good way. This finale was entertaining as all get out to me, and despite the occasional groaner moment, I think this may be Lost's most purposeful, surprising finale." Season 6. Season 6 opened to much hype and curiosity. The AV Club asked, "I'm guessing that one of the biggest fears of Lost fans as we ride out the 6th and final season, bumps and all, is that we are going to come to the end and find a big nothing in return for all we've invested in these characters. We don't just need answers, we need justifications. Why has whatever happened, happened? Who has called this particular meeting to order, and does it really matter who showed up?" The episodes Dr. Linus, Abiterno, Happily Ever After, and The Candidate opened to highly positive critical reception, while the third-to-last episode Across the Sea was the episode with the most negative reception. The time spent at the other's temple was criticized. Online described the show as lightning in a bottle and picked it as top TV drama of 2010. Series finale. The series finale opened to highly polarized critical and fan reception. According to the website Metacritic, the end received generally favorable reviews with a Metascore, a weighted average based on the impressions of 31 critical reviews, of 74 out of 100. IGN reviewer Chris Carbett gave the finale a 10 tenths, tying it with the initial review of Pilot, Part 1, Through the Looking Glass, The Constant, and There's No Place Like Home, Parts 2 and 3 as the best reviewed episode of Lost. He described it as one of the most enthralling, entertaining and satisfying conclusions I could have hoped for. Carbett also noted that the discussions about the episode may never end, saying Lost may be gone, but it will hardly be forgotten. Eric Dens of the St. Petersburg Times also gave the finale a perfect score, stating Sunday's show was an emotional, funny, expertly measured reminder of what Lost has really centered on since its first moments on the primetime TV landscape: faith, hope, romance and the power of redemption through belief in the best of what moves mankind. Robert Bianco of USA Today rated the episode perfect as well, deeming the finale can stand with the best any series has produced. Hal Bodeker of Orlando Sentinel cited the finale being a stunner. The Guardian and the Daily Telegraph both reported that the end had received negative reviews and disappointed its viewers. Alan Sepinwall of Star Ledger was less enthusiastic of the finale, stating, "I'm still wrestling with my feelings about the end. I thought most of it worked like gangbusters, but as someone who did spend at least part of the last 6 years dwelling on the questions that were unanswered, be they little things like the Outrigger shootout or why the others left Dharma in charge of the Swan Station after the purge, or bigger ones like Walt, I can't say I found the end wholly satisfying, either as closure for this season or the series. There are narrative dead ends in every season of Lost, but it felt like season 6 had more than usual." Mike Hale of the New York Times gave the end a mixed review, as the episode showed that the series was shaky on the big picture. On organizing the welter of mythic religious philosophical material it insisted on incorporating into its plot, but highly skilled at the small one, the moment-to-moment business of telling an exciting story. Rendered insignificant, were the particulars of what they had done on the island. David Zurich of the Baltimore Sun gave the episode a highly negative review, writing, "If this is supposed to be such a smart and wise show, unlike anything else on network TV, blah, blah, blah. Why such a wimpy, phony, quasi-religious, white light, huggy branding? Once Jack stepped into the church it looked like he was walking into a Hollywood rap party without food or music, just a bunch of actors grinning idiotically for 10 minutes and hugging one another." Ratings. Lost originally aired on the American Broadcasting Company, ABC, from September 22, 2004, to May 23, 2010. The pilot episode had 18.6 million viewers, easily winning its 9 p.m. time slot, and giving ABC its strongest ratings since 2000 when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was initially aired, beaten only the following month by the premiere of Desperate Housewives. According to Variety, ABC sure could use a breakout drama success, as it hasn't had a real hit since The Practice. Lost represents the network's best start for a drama with 18 to 49-year-olds since Once and Again in 1999, and in total viewers since Murder One in 1995. For its first season, Lost averaged 16 million viewers, ranking 14th in viewership among primetime shows and 15th among the 18 to 49-year-old demographic. Its second season fared equally well, again, Lost ranked 14th in viewership, with an average of 15.5 million viewers. However, it improved its rating with 18 to 49-year-olds, ranking 8th. The second season premiere was even more viewed than the first, pulling in over 23 million viewers and setting a series record. The third season premiere brought in 18.8 million viewers. The seventh episode of the season, back from a 3-month hiatus, saw a drop to 14.5 million. Over the course of the spring season, ratings would plunge to as low as 11 million viewers before recovering to near 14 million for the season finale. The ratings drop was partially explained when Nielsen released DVR ratings, showing Lost as the most recorded series on television. However, despite overall ratings losses, Lost still won its hour in the crucial 18 to 49 demographic and put out the highest 18 to 49 numbers in the 10 p.m. time slot ahead of any show on any network that season. The fourth season premiere saw an increase from the previous episode to 16.1 million viewers, though by the eighth episode, viewers had decreased to a series low of 11.461 million. A survey of 20 countries by Informa Telecoms and Media in 2006 concluded that Lost was the second most popular TV show in those countries, after CSI, Miami. The sixth season premiere was the first to climb in the ratings year over year since the second season, drawing 12.1 million viewers. Awards and nominations. Capping its successful first season, Lost won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Drama Series, and J.J. Abrams was awarded an Emmy in September 2005 for his work as the director of Pilot. Terry O'Quinn and Naveen Andrews were nominated in the Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series category. Lost swept the Guild Awards in 2005, winning the Writers Guild of America Awards 2005 for Outstanding Achievement on Writing for a Dramatic Television Series, the 2005 Producers Guild Award for Best Production, the 2005 Directors Guild Award for Best Direction of a Dramatic Television Program, and the Screen Actors Guild Awards 2005 for Best Ensemble Cast. It was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Television Drama Series 3 times, 2005 to 2007, and it won the award in 2006. In 2006, Matthew Fox and Naveen Andrews received Golden Globe nominations for Best Lead Actor in a Drama Series and Best Supporting Actor respectively, and in 2007, Evangeline Lilly received a nomination for Best Actress in a Television Drama Series. Lost was nominated for the 2005 British Academy of Film and Television Award for Best International. In 2006, Jorge Garcia and Michelle Rodriguez took home Alma Awards for Best Supporting Actor and Actress, respectively, in a television series. It won the Saturn Award for Best Television Series in both 2005 and 2006. In 2005, Terry O'Quinn won a Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actor in a Television Series, and in 2006, Matthew Fox won for Best Lead Actor. Lost won consecutive Television Critics Association Awards for Outstanding Achievement in Drama, for both its first and second seasons. Cons.